What's going on, guys? My name is Dayne. Welcome to the video. So a lot of times when I talk about fitness stuff, I think I know what I'm talking about when I talk about fitness stuff because I spend a lot of my time doing research and trying to figure things out for myself. Mostly, it's a selfish pursuit in that regard. I'm trying to figure out what works best for the human body because I want it for myself. But the idea that I could share it with everyone else to maybe help other people become healthy and optimize their lives, make them happier, healthier, and overall better, I'll share that along with it. And I'll share that when I can. So oftentimes when I come across something new, I'll do a lot of research and digging into it, and then only when I'm absolutely sure that it's the truth will I share it with you guys. So I do my best to give you guys the most actionable and true information that I can find, because I know that the fitness industry can be very difficult to figure out because there's a lot of money going into it. So that's the biggest reason why eating healthy is difficult, because you have all these companies trying to get their product eaten and purchased despite them not being barely food at all. So anyway, I take a lot of pain and effort to parse through the fitness industry and trying to figure out exactly what is true and what is just paid for. But that leads me to kind of question myself because, who am I? I'm just some guy and I'm up against the entire industry of fitness to try to figure this stuff out. So it's hard to know when you know something is for real, when you know something is the truth, unless you get certified in something or go to college for something. You know what I mean? Take a actual professional course, and even then it can be a little bit wishy-washy. But I figured instead of doing that, because I don't want to spend thousands of dollars to get a little piece of paper that says I'm worth something, I decided to get the ACSM Personal Trainer Exam Prep Book, which basically means that there's 3 practice tests in this booklet, and if you're able to pass these with flying colors, then you should be able to pass the ACSM Personal Trainer Exam and therefore get the ACSM Personal Trainer certification. So typically there's a long course that goes along with this, but I would take my years of digging around on the internet to find out what works best as my training. And so I'm gonna take this practice exam and see how I do. If I absolutely fail, then I know that I have some work to do. If I pass with flying colors, then I'll feel a little bit better passing on my knowledge to you guys. And if I'm somewhere in the middle, then that would probably be about right, if I'm being honest. But either way, I'm going to take the practice exam, and then that's going to tell me where I'm at as far as my competency in at least the world of personal training in my knowledge. So there's a lot more that goes into fitness other than just personal training knowledge. But at least this is a foundation for self-belief. So after reading through the intro of this booklet, it kind of breaks down how the test is done. So it's broken pretty much evenly between initial client consultation and assessment, exercise program design and implementation, exercise leadership and client education, and legal, professional, business, and marketing. So those are the 4 main categories of which the questions are based. Your score is on a scale from 200 to 800, with a passing score is 550 or higher. So that will tell me whether or not I passed and got certified, which I'm not actually getting certified for anything, so don't trust me, I guess. But yeah, the ACSM is the American College of Sports Medicine, and they are a prolific industry standard for personal training and fitness in general. So I trust them to a pretty high degree as far as testing to see if somebody is ready for personal training. So typically throughout school, high school, college, I found myself to be a really good test taker. I'm a smart guy, I think. Who's to say, really? But I think I'm a smart guy, but I'm not that smart. Like, I'm no Einstein, I know that. But I found myself, I did well in school because I found that I'm really good at taking tests. So I found myself really good at parsing the question to figure out almost what they're asking for, and then being able to select the answer that corresponds to what they're trying to get me to figure out. I basically got really good at figuring out what they want me to learn, and then that made the answers typically pretty clear. So through that and process of elimination, I became a very good test taker. And so I'm curious to see how much of this I actually know and how well I do, even on the stuff that I might not know, how much I might be able to game the system and game the test to be able to see how well I do. Granted, I'm going to be truthful with you guys on how much I actually know about the stuff, but I'm going to try to take full advantage of my test taking abilities on this test. So what I might do is I'll like go through and if I don't know the answer to something, I'll like circle the question, but I'll use my testing abilities to try to suss out what the actual answer is. That way I'll know, for me, I'll know what I actually know and what I just guessed correctly on, as that will affect my final score. So without further ado, and there was a whole lot of ado for this one, let's get right into it. Alright, we have practice test number 1. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to start timing myself on my watch. And go! One page down. I'm about a third of the way through the practice exam, and so far I'm feeling there's a lot that I don't know, that I'm learning that I don't know, but it's a lot of the non-functional stuff as far as like client trainer confidentiality kind of questions and marketing kind of stuff. But there's also a lot of stuff where I just don't know the names of things. Like one of the questions is, advanced lifters who are lifting heavy loads adopt which type of breathing technique? And it lists a bunch of specific names. Like, I know how you're supposed to breathe when lifting heavy. I don't know the name of the technique. So with questions like that, it's just a guess of like, maybe I've heard of a word before, so maybe it's that one. But yeah, there's just some things that I definitely need to learn up on though. So I'm learning that as I take this. So it's definitely a good assessment for myself to know what I need to learn next. But third of the way through, let's keep chugging along. I just stubbed my toe on the table. I was just about to say I'm 2/3 of the way done. So, that was worth it. Terrible. And with that, we are done. An hour and 10 minutes in. So it took me an hour and 10 minutes to do the practice exam. I'm going to go over my answers and see how I did. So the scores are in. Unfortunately, the test is not scored on a 0 to 100% scale, and it's not like a letter grade kind of thing. It's scored similar to how the SATs are scored, in where it's weighted based on the difficulty of the exam and also how well other people do on the exam that take the same exam at the same time. So depending on who is taking the exam with you or how hard the exam is in that particular year, you can pass with a lower score or fail with a higher score depending on the different variables. So I can't actually tell you whether or not I would have passed or not. I can only guess. So I ended up getting 105 out of 150 questions correct, giving me a total of about 70%. So technically 70% in American school systems is a passing grade. So I'll take it. But that does mean I have a fair amount of learning to do, which I do realize. So a lot of the stuff I got wrong was the specific names of different techniques or nomenclature of the industry, in which I'm not as versed in, because for my purposes it just needs to work. I need to know what to do and why, but I don't need to know the name of these things. If I'm trying to convey to you guys a certain breathing technique for working out, I'm not going to say, oh yeah, you just want to use the Dayne breathing technique, because you guys are going to be like, what is that? Now I have to Google that, of course, geez. No, I'm going to say this is how you want to breathe. You're going to take a big breath, brace in your core, and then do the rep. That's, it's a lot easier to explain it than to use big fancy words. The other things that I got wrong were a lot of the marketing and legal side of being a personal trainer. That's something that I don't really know much about because I've never had actual clients of my own. So I don't know how to properly legally manage them. I've grown a lot through my childhood with different leadership groups, so I had a little bit of intuition on like the leadership questions and teaching kind of questions, but as far as there were some psychology questions, and I just didn't know the answer. And then, of course, there were some actual functional movement questions that I definitely should have known, but I didn't. So those are the things that I really, really want to learn in the future, because I think those are the most helpful and beneficial to everyone out here. But I think it would be definitely, there's 2 more practice exams in that book, and I think it would be definitely something that I'm going to look forward to trying to do better on in the future. So I'm going to, next few months or so, try to learn as much as I can about personal training and learning the ins and outs of the industry, and then retest, and hopefully I do a whole heck of a lot better. Mind you, I went into this practice exam with zero preparation. I didn't even read what to expect on the exam. Like, that is how little preparation I went in with. So, 70% passing grade, C minus. Let's go. That counts. A plus for effort, but C minus for grade. So that's where we're at. That's the kind of ball we're playing here. But I encourage you guys to, if you guys feel any sort of imposter syndrome for anything that you guys are doing, even if you're not sharing it with the world, if you feel like for yourself you don't feel qualified enough, there are simple methods to test your own knowledge and abilities like this that I highly encourage you to do. You can either confirm you know what you're doing and have this overwhelming sense of self-satisfaction and confidence, or you can learn that you probably should learn a little bit before you move forward, and that imposter syndrome is actually trying to tell you something. So in my case, I'm gonna go learn. So I will talk to you guys later. Stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned. Peace.